So we are today in the Amsterdam water dunes and we're walking alongside the channel, search for some birds. There you see a few swans. So I try to get a little bit closer. I used today the X-H2 with the 500mm f5.6 from Fujifilm. So I'm really curious if I can get a little bit closer without really scaring them here in the water. So I just slowly try to work my way towards the swans. I don't know if you can see them in the water, but yeah, it looks really nice. The weather today is overcast with sometimes a little bit of sunlight, so it's nice diffused light. So I think I'm able to make something nice from it. But yeah, we will see in the end results. This video is a little bit dedicated for using the X-H2 for wildlife photography. So I use today mainly the X-H2 to make my photos and videos. So yeah, I hope I can share some nice photos. It's a really beautiful one. So we need to watch out that they don't fall into the water. Because yeah, it's also a little bit of waste of the gear. Gorgeous, gorgeous swan. Try to come a little bit closer up here. I hope I don't scare them. Otherwise I just stay away and then just walk back if I see that they are annoyed by my presence. I see a kingfisher flying. Maybe in the audio you even hear it, but maybe I can make it. It's flying now out there. It's kingfisher. This is a very promising start of the day. Try to use the foliage a little bit to make a frame. Just want to make a little bit lower standpoint. Maybe I can do something with that, and then I just leave him alone. I leave him alone for now. We go uphill here, and then I'm searching for some foxes. So I'm curious if we can find something. I need to pass a little bit closer, but I just to really careful to not disturb them. The light is really beautiful. It's such a beautiful region because the morning was raining a little bit. Now sun shines and everything is really alive in the autumn. I really enjoy that. I really like the smell of autumn. Hope you guys see something because it's really bright. So a little bit further from the moment when I meet these swans is a little bit like 300 meters further. I leave them alone now, but now we need to climb this little hill, and near the other side I find a lot of times really beautiful compositions with the fallow deer. So yeah, we need to climb a little hill. We're on top of the hill. Beautiful autumn colors. So yeah, really nice. Going down a little bit here, but a little bit slippery because it rained the last hours. So the way down is a little bit slippery. Nice thing, if you are a little bit higher, you more often are on the same level as the birds itself. So you see all little birds on the canopies of the trees, and I'm in the same height. So this is give me some options. Oh yeah, maybe I need to keep just my mouth a little bit shut and don't talk so much, but yeah, that's difficult if I want to explain what I want to do. Well, and oh, look, oh, look, yeah, it's big. Right, I'll put my 500mm next to it. This is a good advertisement thing, or for my thumbnail maybe. This is really great. Just going to make a picture of that. That's awesome. Really like it. It's really big. So yeah, thumbnail for the video was shot here. Really great. Really awesome. Talk with you about the Fujifilm X-H2 and the X-H2S because I think they're a little bit misunderstood. Later when I'm home, I'm going to make a little bit more talking part. All footage what you see, except from this footage what you see now, is made by the X-H2. So also the pictures. But, we will see. I will walk a little bit further to find some red deer, maybe some foxes. If I have something, I will put the camera on again and then I report back to you. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the Fujifilm X-H2 and the X-H2S. And mainly because I get a lot of questions about these two cameras, and the questions always is which camera is right for me and which one I should buy. Yeah, and the question is a little bit difficult because it's depending on a lot of factors, and these factors are in which circumstances you make your photo, in which circumstances you make your video, in which or what kind of subject you make your photos or videos of. So you have a lot of different factors what is deciding it's the X-H2 or the X-H2S. Yes, to make your decision making process a little bit easier, I want to make this video and to give you a little bit of an overview of what the strengths and weaknesses of both cameras are, what the similarities are, and which camera I think is suited for which kind of genre and photography or videography. Now, without further ado, grab yourself a cup of coffee because we're going to talk about camera and camera gear in photography. So yeah, if I start, I almost cannot stop anymore. So yeah, apologies for that. I apologize, I think, in every video already. But yeah, it is what it is. I cannot help it. And I suggest grab yourself a cup of coffee and come back to the video. And then we start talking about the Fujifilm system and the Fujifilm X-H2S and the X-H2. Yeah, 3 months, 3, 4 months, I used both cameras already. I shot really thousands and thousands of pictures on both cameras, so I can base my ideas, my feelings, and effects on real world usage. So if I do a recommendation on this channel, I don't want to have that I use a product 2 times and I make a review or recommendation on it, because yeah, simply it takes a little bit longer to do that. And also, I think it's really important to take the time to learn something and then say the right thing to people who are watching. And yeah, you go to the camera shop with your hard-earned money and you spend a few thousand euro, maybe based on my video. So yeah, I take this really serious, and I don't want to give you the wrong information. So everything what I say, I experience myself. I don't get paid by nobody. I bought everything with my own money, so I'm not sponsored or anything. So I think this is a really good thing, of like important thing to say to you, that it is really like based on world usage of these two cameras. Now, the differences between the X-H2 and the X-H2S. On the outside, it looks really exactly the same camera, only the S model have the big S logo on the front, and that's it. You don't see any difference in design wise, but the cameras are really, really completely different. And it doesn't say one is better than the other. It's not that. The X-H2S is the more expensive one, and it also doesn't say that it's the best one. It's only depending on what kind of photography you do or videography you do. Now, to take the most, I think the not correct thing away from what I read online about these two cameras is that the one is made for video and the other one is made for photography, because I think this is really not correct. Both cameras are hybrid cameras, so they shoot on professional level photography and they can shoot on professional level videography. And I will get that out of the way because I read it everywhere, and I think this is really something what is not true. The S is not a video camera, it's not a photo camera, it's both. And the X-H2 is also not only a photo camera, it's also a video camera. So both can do everything and both can do it really, really well. So yeah, don't let you get in the wrong track with this, because it's just not correct. But who do I think the X-H2S is for, and for what I use it personally? Because I own both cameras and I use also both cameras for my wildlife and nature photography. But it's depending on what kind of circumstances I am. So if I'm in more light, like tricky light conditions, if I'm shooting fast paced like subjects, so like small birds that is flying from branch to branch, or I do birds in flight, or I follow a cheetah in Africa on the Serengeti. I don't know what kind of subjects more I can make up here, but yeah, it's all depending on what kind of subject you're shooting. So if I make like a little bit of a summary or an overview on the pluses of the X-H2S. The X-H2S is better in low light because it has a 26 megapixel stacked sensor. It has bigger sensor size, like pixels, so it can collect more light. So it's more efficient in this light gathering capability for the sensor itself. So yeah, you see on higher ISO, you see a difference. It's not really huge because I think this 40 megapixel X-H2 sensor is really, really good. But yeah, you see a small difference, and especially if you shoot on 6400 ISO, there you see a little bit of a cleaner image with the S version in comparison for the X-H2, the non-S. Um, Autofocus on both cameras, I think it's really good. I already talked in previous videos about this, and I also said if you buy a Fujifilm camera, take really your time to dial in the settings of the autofocus system. I really wish that Fujifilm address that in the next video of like next camera in the X-H3, that you don't have to do that you take it from the box and it's working like every other company or brand. But for now, if you buy an X-H2 or an X-H2S, doesn't matter, or an X-H5 for that matter, you need to really dial in the autofocus.
and then you get really good results. Straight out of the box is not that great, but if you dial it in, I promise you with both cameras you can have really high level quality autofocus with both Fujifilm cameras. But yeah, the X-H2S is a little bit better, and they use the same autofocus technique, only the algorithm on the X-H2S get more data because it's a faster readout sensor, so it processes more data and have more data to make these calculations, and therefore the X-H2S is more efficient on autofocus level. If I need to say it like a little bit of an estimation, it's not scientifically, but like this is more like a feel, and based on thousands and thousands of pictures and a lot of like scenes where I was using both cameras simultaneously, I say it's 20 to 30% better than the X-H2. So yeah, it's not a really huge difference. It's 20 to 30%. But it makes some difference, and in some circumstances, it could be the difference to have a crystal clear, sharp shot and a little bit out of focus shot. So yeah, the thing is, if you really shoot like fast sports, fast wildlife, like little small birds, etc., then I opt you for going for the X-H2S. Because it's just a little bit more snappy. In autofocus wise, the whole operation of the camera itself is just a little bit more snappy, and you just notice the difference. Is it again huge? No, but it is noticeable. Um, the the fourth good thing from the X-H2S, and I think this is a really nice one, is the capability from 4K 120p video. So if you do a lot of wildlife, what I do, and you can slow everything down to really see this moments and to enjoy the moments much longer. Yeah, it's really extraordinary where you see this like a small bird or big bird, it doesn't matter. It open the wings and you see all the feathers and the water is dropping down or whatever happened. If you see it in slow motion, it could be really, really extremely beautiful. So the option on the S version, which is 4K 120p video, is really, really beautiful. So yeah, if you know from yourself that you also going to do video and you also want to do a slow motion video, yeah, then I can steer you to the S version because this 4K 120p is really beautiful. Um, the next one is the pre-capture function of the S model, and I think this is really a beautiful function. I really love to use it when I'm sitting in my tent or when I'm sitting in the height. I really use this function a lot because it lets you really just pick this decisive moment when something happened. You press it and you know that you have this moment in focus and on your camera, on your memory card, because it's already buffering a few seconds before you press it. Already a few seconds before it starts already to make its photos. So you don't miss the shot anymore with this function. So I really think this is a really powerful tool for a wildlife and nature photography or photographer to use. So yeah, the pre-capture function on the S version is really phenomenal. I really love to use it. So this is also one of the reasons that I think I choose the X-H2S more often for my wildlife photography because this function is really incredible. Um, the S version have also a better burst in mode in photo. The S version shoot electronic shutter 40 frames per second, and in mechanical shutter it shoots 15 frames per second. The non-S version, dus the X-H2, only shoots 15 frames mechanical and only 13 frames electronic. Now, I say only sport cameras from Canon, Nikon, the big like DSLR cameras were shooting around this same frame rate. So it's not slow by any means, but it is slow compared to the S version. So yeah, if you really want to pick this moment out that the bird have the wings open and you really want to pick the moment that right exactly the moment that the whole composition is perfect, then you have more frames to work with the S version. So yeah, this is sometimes a really valuable option. The only thing is that if you shoot 40 frames per second, that if you press it, you have a lot of photos on your memory card, and therefore you use a lot of memory, you use a lot of time to search everything, So it's not always the best options to shoot in. Sometimes 20 frames per second is more than enough, and mostly I shoot 20 frames per second. The S version have also a better dynamic range, especially in video. You really see that this 14 plus dynamic stops are really worth to have in tricky lights and conditions. So yeah, I really love that. If, like, for example, the end of year I go to Norway, to Dovrevel, and there you have of course snow, and the musk ox what I'm going to photography or like or putting on video is of course dark, is dark hair and everything. So if you can take the highlights down and the shadows up and everything looks like good in detail, that is really worth something. And the dynamic range on the S model is just a little bit better. Now, then we come to the rolling shutter. Like I said, the S model have a stacked sensor. It means that the readout of the sensor, and when you go from the top bottom like to the bottom, the readout is really fast. So that all the lines are scanned really fast in the picture. So you don't have this jello effect. So if I move my hand, it is perfectly sharp in picture if you put, of course, your shutter speed high enough. But on the X-H2 with this non-stacked sensor, it's much slower to read out. So if you put it on electronic and you have a fast moving subject, it could be that it's just like warping differently, and you end up with unusable photos. So I suggest, if you use the X-H2, put them on a mechanical shutter if you use it for wildlife or for fast moving action, because yeah, the electronic shutter on the X-H2 is a little bit like less good in rolling shutter, and also you see it in video. If you make video and you know that you follow something really fast and make panning movements, yeah, then I go for the S version, because you really see that the lines like keep straight, and even if you pan left or right or you follow your subject, everything remains nicely, because the readout speed is much higher on the S model than the X-H2 non-S model. So yeah, the rolling shutter is also really a really good thing on the S model. Um, but it doesn't say that the S model is great in everything. If I see the positives on of the X-H2, dus the non-S, it have a 14 megapixel sensor. So it's a 14 megapixel BSI sensor. And it says BSI is backside illuminated. Also the S version is backside illuminated. It gives a little bit of better performance in lower light conditions. But the 14 megapixel is really extraordinarily beautiful, especially if you pair it with a good lens. So if you use it with a prime lens, if I use it with, for example, my 500 millimeter prime, yeah, then the results are extraordinary. Only the thing is, what you keep in mind, that not in all conditions the level of detail it will be the same. For example, if I make a shot on in a really tricky situation, light situation with X-H2S or the X-H2 on the same moment, it could be that I have more detail in the X-H2S, because the tricky light situations are better processed by the S version than the non-S version. But if the light is good and you have a circumstance of what is really suited for the X-H2, then yeah, if you open this files of the 40 megapixel sensor, it's extraordinary. It's really beautiful. There's so much detail. They're so sharp, and it makes that you can crop, of course, a lot more. If you have a beautiful situation, you can crop in like really tight, and yeah, you make even the 500 millimeter lens make more worth, because yeah, you can crop much further. Yeah, I'm not really big fan of cropping, but it is a possibility that you can do it. This 40 megapixel is really a really nice resolution to work with. So yeah, this sensor is really great. Also, with this sensor, you can shoot 8K video. Now, I'm not a 8K shooter, but it has some functions that I think people look over, and it is that you can crop also in video. So you can make one scene like this, and then you can crop it like a double, and you have like a smaller like scene. So you can make like different like compositions in one shot. So you can take things out of your frame. So the 8K capability is not that you really want to have 8K on your monitor or on your television or somewhere else. Now you can just use this data because you have so much data to crop in, to recompose your shot better and keep still the details so high. And also, it's a really nice function. You have this electronic or this digital zoom in video on the X-H2. So yeah, this is really awesome. So if I put them on my X-H, of like on my 500 millimeter prime, I press this zoom function, then I almost have like 1200 millimeter, 1200 millimeter equivalent field of view with still 4K quality of my image. So it's super sharp and it's really capable to bring everything much closer, even more so than the X-H2S can. So yeah, I really like that function. I really like this 8K function. I don't use it 8K in general because yeah, simply not a lot of people have the capability to reproduce 8K video quality on their screens. So there's not a lot of infrastructure to carry this 8K video footage. But the pluses for cropping and pluses for recomposing is really, really nice to have. Also, the X-H2 have a better battery life, and I don't hear it nowhere. But the stack sensor use more electricity, just use more power, and it's really noticeable because if I go a day away into nature and I come back, the X-H2 is always have a lot of like power left, and the X-H2S is almost dead. So it is have a really big is maybe a little bit too much, but there is a difference, a noticeable difference between battery life between the two cameras. So if you know, for example, that you go long days away and you do, then it's also a nice plus that you can do a little bit longer with the battery. Also, the price of the X-H2 is much cheaper. It's in Holland is about like 500-600 euro cheaper, and it's only because the stacked sensor is a really expensive design to have. So yeah, it's not like the X-H2S is a much better camera or any means, because it's like frankly the same camera, only with a different sensor and a few extras. But the stack sensor design is really expensive. So yeah, if you don't need it, then yeah, why should buy then the more expensive model if you don't need to or utilize all the pluses from the stack sensor? So yeah, then you can better have the cheaper version of the X-H2. And also the X-H2 have this pixel multi-shot mode where you can compose your image. You press like the button, your release button, and it makes multiple pictures, and it moves the picture frame a little bit. Like I make a little bit bigger movements, but it's pixel on pixel level, and it composes pictures together, not in camera, but you need to like in post production you need to blend it in together, and then you have a 160 megapixel shot or picture. So yeah, for landscape, and I think even better for product photography, or like if you do like real estate photography, I think it's really worth a lot, because yeah, the ISO performance in the multi-shot is incredible because you can shoot higher ISO and it's perfectly clean. The details are unbelievable. The color reproduction from this multi-shot is really beautiful. So yeah, I tested a few times and I was all time blown away, because yeah, it is just a 160 megapixel shot. Only thing what you need to keep in mind is that it's not working if something's moving. For example, if you have a landscape which is really static, then you can use it easily. But if you have like wind in leaves or something and it's moving around, then you cannot really use it anymore. But then yeah, still you have a 40 megapixel sensor of the like the native sensor itself. So yeah, this is a little bit the pluses. What I believe, what for me is coming to my mind about these two cameras. Um, yeah, it doesn't say nothing, of course, about which camera is suited for you. Um, but only yeah, if these boxes are ticking for you and you can think them off and you know, okay, this one is important for me, this one is important for me, then you can already make a little bit of a decision for yourself. Um, so far, I think that the S version is more made for high speed movement, sport, wildlife, but then subjects what is moving fast. Um, if you do wildlife, for example, what the subject is static, is sitting still on a branch, then I rather have the X-H2 with its 40 megapixel sensor. So it's depending completely on what kind of situations you are. If you're a lower light situation, I grab the S version. If I know the light is perfect and my subject are like big mammals, like for example in Norway end of this year in 7 weeks, this musk oxen are not that super fast moving, then I take the X-H2 with its 40 megapixel because I can do so much with these files. It's really unbelievable. So yeah, it's a little bit of a overview from okay, what is the strength of the S version and what is the strength of the non-S version. Now, the cons of both bodies, what I think what Fujifilm should improve on both bodies and what you need to keep in mind. For few people maybe is not really a con, and they don't mind or they don't have the same problem that I have with these bodies. But it is good to mention it because if something like this is bothering of make it more difficult for you, then maybe you need to search for another camera. Um, the camera body itself is really solidly made. I really love the feel. The grip is really comfortable. If I'm shooting my videos or photos, it has a really substantial feel. So everything is made like nice, durable. But the thing is, in the outside of both bodies, so the S model and the non-S model, is that there is no video switch on it, and they claim this is a hybrid system or hybrid camera, so for photos and videos. But the way that I shoot my videos is when I put it on my eye, I need to have my left hand, I need to dial in then my custom mode, and then I put it on video because I have then this top wheel, I have then 7 choices, and 3 of them are video, and 4 of them are different photo modes. And this one is then on the X-H2. The X-H2S I dial in exactly the same, but only then with this 4K 120p video mode, etc. But I really love if I have it on my eye that I can do everything with one hand. So I can switch to video, I can switch back to photo. So yeah, I really like that, for example, in the Nikon Z8 because it has a little switch here with my thumb. So I had to my eye, I switched this little thing to video and I was on video mode. I could press video up and I would switch back. I make photos again. So I can switch really fast between video and photo. And I really miss that switch on the X-H2 and the X-H2S because they claim that it's a video and photo, a hybrid camera, but they make it a little bit difficult to utilize really fast the video option or going back to photo option again. So yeah, I hope that they include a switch that it's reachable for my right hand, so that I don't have to take because normally I shoot with longer lenses from a 500 millimeter. I have my hand as a support, so I don't want to take the support away to dial in then my settings on the top of the camera. So yeah, I hope that they make a switch on the right side of the camera that I can switch and I put it on video mode on the X-H3. I think this is a really big thing for me then to work just easier and to maybe even don't miss a shot. The only thing or the other thing is that the exposure compensation on the Fuji X-H2 and X-H2S is really annoying. And I say it really like hard, but it's just not the right implementation. I think I hope that they can fix it in firmware. But I also read it online that a lot of people have the same complaint, and I think this is something to do with that you don't have exactly the control what you want. For example, I make a shot, and I want to have my compensation that it makes it darker. I press the button in that I can change my compensation, and then I have my dial here to make it like darker or lighter. But it doesn't show you exactly what you dial in, but it shows you what it is on the moment itself. So you see in your screen, you see then the minus 0.3, minus 0.6. But if you put it higher and it's really light outside, it doesn't correspond exactly with what you dial in. And it's a little bit tricky to explain. If you use it and you will see it, and it's just a little bit cumbersome, because I want that I press this button and that I see, okay, I dial in one stop darker, and then I go back and then he can show me everything what he wants, like what it is on the moment itself, but I want to see what I dial in. And the Fujifilm doesn't let you see that. So I think it's also really a little bit of a con between this Fujifilm cameras, because the X-H2 X-T5 or the X-T series have this like nice little dial that you can see it like with your own eyes what you dial in. So yeah, I think there lies also a little bit of a improvement for Fujifilm. The screen on both cameras, and I don't know if you can see it like clearly. I have here, I put a little bit before my head, my face. I have a little bit of a tape, because I'm using the camera also in colder climates, and therefore I use gloves. And with these gloves, it's really difficult to open the camera, because especially when you have the grip, there is no really like a nice way to open it. So it's a really small opening on the side, and I can put now my finger in and then I can open it, no problem. But if I have gloves on, it's almost impossible to open, because you don't have nothing to hang on. But what I did is then I put a little bit of duct tape to make it like a little piece that you can just hold on, and then you can just pull out your screen like that. So I hope that they improve that a little bit on the X-H3, that you can just open and do everything with gloves on without that I need to put a little bit of tape on it. If needed, I do it because I modified a little bit, and it's working much better for me with a little piece of tape. So yeah, this is also a thing that I think they should improve, and what I think is con of both bodies. I said a little bit already that the cameras are not really made for one hand control, because you have a lot of dials here on the side of the camera. For example, your drive modes, you have your like playback function mode you have here. So all the time, if you want to do something, you have your custom modes on top of here. You need to take away your like support from your lens or something else, and need to put with your other hand. You need to dial in your settings on the left side. Yeah, I rather see it like everything on the right side, that I can do everything and all operations with one hand. Yeah, if you have buttons on the left side, I want to have the buttons that I almost never use. So yeah, makes it but much nicer to operate. I don't want to take my support away, because if I do that, I make movement. So if I'm making a video and I want to make like small adjustments, I just want to do that with one hand. I'm busy here on this side and not on this side. So yeah, I think there's also a little bit of a design flaw from Fujifilm. They need to be more focused on who is like using these cameras, and this is the working professional, also wildlife photography, and doesn't matter which one, but you want to be fast, and you can operate everything really easily with the right side. And things which you almost never use, you can put on the left side. So yeah, the video switch on the top, yeah, it's not a really big thing, of a really good thing. You want to have it on the right side. So now, a little bit of a complaint about it. So I had also complaints on the Z8, and none of the cameras on the market are 100% good. But there's a few complaints what the both cameras share, and like the design wise of the cameras. So yeah, cons of both bodies. Further, I really like the construction, the design of the bodies. It have a really solid feel. So if you take it really in your hand and you feel how it is put together, it's really feel like nice piece of quality. It really feels like a brick, and I really like that, because I had it also with the Nikon Z8. It really feels like substantial. I don't like this really like lightweight camera so much, because I always feel that if I drop it or bang to something, it's broken and I don't like it. I just want to have a little bit more weight. It's not said that the cameras are heavy by any means, because from my head they are 660 grams, so they're not really heavy. But if you put a grip underneath, they become a little bit heavier, and I like it. And also, if they're a little bit heavier, it's much easier to hold the whole camera still, because yeah, your muscle don't your arm is more balanced, like nicely, so you have more balanced shots. Now it's a really comfortable grip. I already told EVF. The EVF is really beautiful on both cameras. The EVF is a 5.76 million dots EVF. It's really nice and sharp. It's nice and bright. If you look through it and you do your manual focus, you can see everything really nicely in the EVF. That's also for both cameras because they use the same screen EVF panels. So yeah, really nice color reproductions on both cameras. Really nice refresh rate. So it's really nice and fluid. So if you follow a bird, it's really nice and fluid. The buttons on the whole camera and both cameras are really feeling great. I had only one little complaint, and this is have something to do with the autofocus joystick and the AF on button, because yeah, I'm a wildlife photographer, so I'm also laying on the ground, so there is a possibility that some sand, mud is coming on my buttons. Now I had one instance that my autofocus AF on button was like a little bit of sand on the side was stuck, so it was just like pressed in and it didn't come out anymore. So yeah, I don't know if this is could be solved by a better like placement or better made button, or if it's just me that I was a little bit too uncareful with my camera. But yeah, you know, they are a piece of tools, so I want to use them also as a piece of tool. And yeah, I don't need to think about, oh, I cannot lay in the mud because my AF1 button cannot handle it. And also the joystick head on the side, they have a little bit too much room for debris to go in. And it's also a little bit difficult to clean. My Nikon Z8 had it a little bit better, that you could just really like do a few times like that and it was clean. So yeah, these buttons, the rest, if you press it, it feels really great. It feels nice. It has really like a little bit of a response that you feel that you press something. But yeah, keep in mind that these buttons are a little bit sensitive for sand and other debris or dust, etc. Now, the 7 custom modes. Yeah, it's really nice to have 7 custom modes because you can dial in every custom mode specifically for what kind of video or photography you're doing. But 7 and plus 7 on the other one is 14 custom modes that you need to memorize. And if you're busy, yeah, you need to always think which custom mode I want to use. So it's I think better to have like 4 custom modes and a video switch, so you don't have to stroll down with all the custom modes and fighting with it. Come back again on this video switch. If you have video switch and you have 4, then you can use 1 to 4 for photo, and a switch on video 1 to 4 is for video. I think this is a much nicer option for your custom modes. It doesn't say that this is not workable or something, because I think it's really nice that Fujifilm put 7 custom modes on it, but I prefer then 4 with a switch to video, so I can program again this 4 for video, and not memorize 7 plus 7 for the other camera from my head. The battery life on both cameras is really good. I really like it because I shoot long days. I go into nature, and now, especially now, it's starting to get cold a little bit. So I really see that the battery life is really good in both cameras. Now, I already told you the X-H2 battery life is really, really good. It's just a really step up from the X-H2S. So yeah, it's really nice. Screen on top, I really, really do like that. And you can dial in how you want it, but I have then my settings I have on it. So my shutter speed, my aperture, my compensation, ISO, which kind of drive mode I am, which kind of white balance, etc. And it's really easy because you can just fold down your LCD screen and you can see all settings on top screen. And my Nikon also had that, but a lot of cameras doesn't have that. And like the Sony or the Panasonic. They don't have it, and I really like this function, especially when it is a little bit darker. You can just even put some light on, and it's that shows you really easily what kind of settings you have on your camera. So I really enjoy that extra LCD panel on top. Um, the IBIS in both cameras are 7 stops. It, it is a little bit tricky to really see this scientifically, but I feel that the X-H2S is a little bit easier to make your photos with on lower shutter speeds, and I think it has something to do with this really extraordinary high megapixel 40 megapixel APS-C sensor. The density of the pixels are so small and they're cramped into each other that any movement that the movement's already here, you're already in the next pixel. So I feel that the lower shutter speeds on the X-H2S, the S version, are much easier to accomplish than on the non like S version, because this 40 megapixel is little bit more demanding for higher shutter speeds. And again, I cannot do that scientifically because I don't have the machinery for that. But when I make thousand pictures, I really feel that I get more like consistent, sharper shots with the S version on lower shutter speeds than with the X-H2 40 megapixel sensor. Now, a little bit of a summary of both. Both have extraordinary beautiful sensors. Only the sensor is made for other uses. So if I make a summary of all what I'm explaining and told you, is that the X-H2S is aimed for more fast-paced action on video and on photo territory, and the X-H2 is more in slower speed, but it delivers more detail. So you need to think about for yourself, okay, what kind of direction I go. Do I shoot a lot of fast sport? Now, I opt you to go for the S version. If you don't do that, save 500, 600 euro and go for the X-H2 version. If you do a lot of wildlife photography, then everybody say go for the S version. But it's also depending again what kind of wildlife you're doing. You know, if you do a lot of birds and birds in flight, yeah, S version all the way. But if you do a lot of bigger mammals and bigger wildlife and on a slower speed and you have beautiful light, even if you have a little bit more difficult light conditions, still I will go for the X-H2 because this 40 megapixel delivers so much more detail on these moments than the 26 megapixel does. So yeah, it's all depending on what kind of situation you are, what kind of subject you make your photos of. So it's not a really easy decision to make. So yeah, I hope I help you guys a little bit with the decision making process and with highlighting the strengths of the S system and, or the S camera and the non-S camera. Um, yeah, that said, both are beautiful cameras. Both are perfectly capable of doing wildlife or portraiture or video on all kind of genres. Only the one is more aimed at the fastest pace and the other one is more slower pace, but it delivers more high quality images. Um, and again, yeah, both cameras are perfectly capable, have perfectly capable autofocus system, and you need to just simply dial it in better. Some questions from you guys. If you have comments or something, let me know. Because I'm really interested in your opinion about these two cameras and what kind of things you run in against. If you also see this little bit of cons, what I name, if you also see that or notice that, and maybe I didn't like mention something what you think. Okay, I want to hear that from you, Michael. So yeah, I'm really curious. I hope you liked the video. I hope it helps you a little bit, and I see you next time. And bye bye.